Welcome students for the chemistry class. So it is the part 4 of this chapter atoms and molecules. Part 4. Already we completed 3 parts. In today's class I am going to explain about theory. That means laws of chemical combination. Laws of chemical combination. There are 2 laws there. First law of conservation of mass, law of constant proportion. In class 9th syllabus, 2 laws there, and next Dalton's atomic theory. In today's class, I am going to explain the theory topics, laws and Dalton's atomic theory. Laws of chemical combination. Laws of chemical combination. There are 2 laws. First law, that is law of conservation of mass. Second law of constant proportions. You will see first law of conservation of mass. It was proposed by Lavoisier. So, law of conservation of mass was proposed by Lavoisier. Lavoisier considered as father of modern chemistry. Lavoisier considered as father of modern chemistry. So we will see this law of conservation of mass statement. In exams they will ask, state law of conservation of mass. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That means, this is statement. This means that during a chemical reaction, the sum of the masses of the reactants and products remain unchanged. I will take one reaction. A plus B gives rise to C plus D. It is general form of reaction. Here A and B are called reactants. C and D are formed during chemical reaction, hence these are called products. These substances which are taken for a reaction, that means participating, are called reactants, and formed during the reaction are called products. It is the important one statement. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. This is called law of conservation of mass. It was proposed by Lavoisier. You can state this law in another form. Total mass of reactants, before the reaction is equal to total mass of the product. Total mass of the products after the reaction. In a chemical reaction, total mass of the reactants is equal to total mass of the products. It is another way of law of conservation of mass. What is law of conservation of mass? Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. You will see one activity. In this activity, barium chloride is one of reactant, sodium sulfate is another reactant. It gives barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So here reactants are this one. One reactant is barium chloride. Its formula is BaCl2, barium chloride. It is a colorless solution, no color, colorless solution. Clear solution. This top layer is sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. Formula Na2SO4. It is also colorless solution. But you can observe here white precipitate formed. White, this type substance is called precipitate. White precipitate is formed by the reaction of barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So it is a barium chloride, sodium sulfate. These are reactants, starting substance. After adding these two, you will get white precipitate. This white precipitate is a product, one of the product. So it is the basic for this activity. What compound is taken? Barium chloride, formula is BaCl2. Another reactant is sodium sulfate, formula is Na2SO4. By adding these two, you will get white precipitate, that is BaSO4. You will represent like downward arrow. Downward arrow means it is a white precipitate. Plus sodium chloride, formula is NaCl. So barium chloride, aqueous solution. Sodium sulfate, aqueous solution are mixed. You will get white precipitate and aqueous solution of sodium sulfate. So here in this activity, what are the reactants? Reactants are barium chloride and sodium sulfate. Starting substances, these are called reactants. These are called products. This gives rise to experiment. Before practical, starting substances are called reactant. After experiment, compounds formed are called products. So what is this law? Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That means total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of the product. You can see here barium chloride solution is taken in test tube. This is a test tube. In this test tube, barium chloride solution is taken. This is barium chloride solution. Sodium sulfate solution is taken in conical. This flask is called conical flask. In conical flask, which substance is taken? Sodium sulfate. Now, these are not mixed before reaction. What is the mass? 300.23 grams. That means mass of reactants is equal to 300.23 grams. Now you close this conical flask and you shake this conical flask well. You invert this one. This solution and this solution are mixed thoroughly. So white precipitate is formed. Now you can observe here white precipitate is formed in conical flask. White precipitate formed means reaction completed. Reaction takes place. But after reaction also you can see the mass is 300.23 grams. So that means mass of products is also 300.23 grams. So mass of reactant is equal to mass of the product. This is called law of conservation of mass. In a chemical reaction, total mass of the reactant is equal to total mass of the product. That means mass neither be created nor destroyed. This is called law of conservation of mass. So you can see in another before reaction clearly. Barium chloride solution is there here. Sodium sulfate solution in test tube, tagged with thread, conical flask before reaction. After reaction, these two mixed together, white precipitate formed, that is barium sulfate white precipitate and sodium chloride. This mass and this mass are equal. Total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of the product. This is called law of conservation of mass. Next law, second law, law of constant proportion. You can call it as law of definite proportion or law of constant composition. Definite proportion, definite, that means constant, proportion means composition. This law was proposed by Joseph Proust. This was proposed by Joseph Proust. This is second law, law of conservation of mass power. It is law of constant proportion. You see, in a chemical compound, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. That means, I will take one example here, water. You tell some sources of water, river water, sea water, rain water, well water, pump water, okay, lakes, ponds, prepared in lab, like this. So whatever the source, you take river water, sea water, rain water, or water collected from well, or pump, or lake, or ponds, you prepare synthetic artificial in lab, its formula is H2O only. In H2O, what is the mass of hydrogen? 2. What is the mass of oxygen? 16. Already you know mass of oxygen is 16, mass of hydrogen is 2. 2 is to 16, that means 1 is to 8. This proportion of elements is constant proportion. irrespective of the source, irrespective of the source, irrespective of the source, its proportion is constant. So 1 is to 8, whatever the source in water H2O, mass of hydrogen is to mass of oxygen is always 1 is to 8. This is called law of constant proportion. Now you can see statement in a chemical compound, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. In a chemical compound, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. Example, you take water, always contains two elements. What are the two elements in water? One is hydrogen and another one is oxygen. H2 contains two hydrogens, mass is 2, O 16, 2 is to 16, that means 1 is to 8. 1 is to 8 means total how many parts? 9 grams. If 9 grams of water is decomposed, we will get 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 grams of oxygen. This is called law of constant proportion. We will take one more example like water, ammonia, NH3. What is the mass of nitrogen? 14. What is the mass of hydrogen? 3. 14 is to 3. Whatever the source to prepare ammonia, its composition is always constant. 14 is to 3. So ammonia always contains two elements, nitrogen and hydrogen, combined together in the same ratio 14 is to 3 by mass. We will take one more example. This water already discussed, H2O, its composition is 2 is to 16, 1 is to 8. Ammonia, 14 is to 3, nitrogen is to H. It is the structure of ammonia, N, H, H, H. This is water, O, H, H. Water molecule and ammonia molecule. This is about second law. Next one, Dalton's atomic theory. John Dalton's atomic theory. John Dalton's atomic theory. Here some postulates are there. First one, matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. You take any matter, that may be solid or liquid or gas, it contains very small particles called atoms. Matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. Tiny particles called atoms. We discussed already, atoms are indivisible and cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Second point, atoms are indivisible and cannot be created nor are destroyed in a chemical reaction. Third point, atoms of a given element are similar in mass and properties. I will take carbon atom. So, third point, atoms of a given element are similar in mass and properties. You take carbon atom, element is carbon. These are carbon atoms. All carbon atoms mass is 12. Similar in mass, similar in properties. That means third point, atoms of same element have similar mass and properties. Fourth point, atoms of different elements have different mass and properties. Here element changed, nitrogen, these are nitrogen atoms. You take two nitrogen atoms, they have same mass, same properties. But I compared one carbon atom, one nitrogen atom. Here mass is 12, here mass is 14. Atoms of different elements have different masses and different properties. What is the first point? Matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. Atoms are indivisible and cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Atoms of same element have similar properties. Atoms of different elements have different properties. Fifth point is atoms combine in small whole number ratio to form compound. How this water will form? Two hydrogen atoms combine with one oxygen atom in small whole number ratio 2:1. How ammonia will form? One nitrogen atom combine with three hydrogen atoms in small whole number ratio 1:3. Atoms combine in small whole number ratio to form compounds. Last point is, in a given compound, the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant. You take water, in water 2H and 1O, it is constant. In ammonia 1N and 3H, this is constant. In a given compound, the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant. So these are the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton also given symbols. First symbols given by Dalton only. These symbols are for hydrogen. Dalton used this type of symbol. Carbon, black circle. Oxygen, empty circle. Phosphorus, this type, triangle is there inside. Sulfur, cross mark. Platinum. So these symbols are there. There is no logic while writing in symbols. After that, Berzelius given notation symbols by using name of the element as its symbol, hydrogen H. So Berzelius given this type of nomenclature. Carbon means C. In old system, carbon means this one. Dalton system, hydrogen means this one. According to Berzelius, H, C, nitrogen is N. You know sodium Na, Latin word. Potassium K, so like that symbols given. You have to remember one more word, IUPAC. IUPAC means International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. What is the expansion of this IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. This IUPAC approved this Berzelius system. Names with symbols. First letter of the name is taken as symbols. Some names contains two letters also, Ca, Cl, like this. Okay, thank you.